Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Attracting Talent, Hiring the Right Person, and Preparing Them for Success webinar, presented by the Florida SBDC at UCF and sponsored by TD Bank. Thank you, TD Bank, for making this webinar possible today. My name is Teresa Davis. I am the program coordinator and the researcher for the FSBDC. I will be helping with tech support and helping you ask questions. The webinar today is the first in a three-part series on human resources, all presented by our panelists and consultants. Elly Membreno, consultant with the FSBDC at UCF in Kissimmee. Monica Williams, area manager and consultant for the FSBDC at Seminole State College. And Jessica Elly, program coordinator and associate consultant with the FSBDC in Orlando. Before we get started, I'd like to give a brief overview about the SBDC. The SBDC, or Small Business Development Center, at UCF is an economic development organization that exists to help small businesses grow and succeed. We serve an 8-county region. We are state designated as Florida's principal provider of business assistance and are partially funded by the US SBA, State of Florida, and other local support organizations and community partners. The SBDC has been around for 45 years, and we have offices throughout Florida, ranging from our headquarters in Pensacola all the way to the Keys, with each region being hosted by a university or state college. In Central Florida, we are hosted by UCF. Our service offerings include no-cost one-on-one consulting in all different areas of business, and normally we have in-person seminars, and this year we're doing virtual on various business topics and strategies. Now, before I pass the mic off to Elly, who will be our main presenter today, I just want to cover a few housekeeping rules. Everyone's mics are muted by default, but if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to use the questions chat box feature and go to webinar panel, and we'll address them towards the end of the presentation. Don't use the raise hand feature, just use the chat box. Evaluation surveys for this seminar will be emailed to you shortly after the session, so please check your inbox at the conclusion and submit your feedback as quickly as possible so we can improve our future offerings. And finally, a recording of today's webinar will be available on our YouTube page in about a few weeks. It usually takes 1 to 2 weeks for it to process. I'd like to thank you again for joining, and without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Elly.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for coming and joining us to this first webinar that we have ready for you, Attracting Talent, Hiring the Right Employee, and Prepare Them for Success. I'm Elly Membreno, and with us, our team. Jessica, can we move the slide, please? So our team for Florida Small Business Development Center at UCF, it's Monica Williams. She will bring the module number 2 about leadership. Jessica Elly will teach us the module 3 about managing employees. And here you have Elly Membreno, hiring the right employee. So we are the HR team for Florida Small Business Development Center, and we are glad to present not these topics, but to be your team when you need assistance in HR. So starting with our presentation, Jessica, we have a slide.
You should be set to click, yes ma'am.
Yes. Okay, again, Elly Membreno. I'm a business consultant for Florida Small Business Development Center at UCF for more than 7 years already. And I have more than 30 years working of experience in business law and labor law. Disclaimer, remember that this presentation is provided for general information purposes only. Individual situations are very diverse, And any questions or concerns should be directed to an attorney who will be able to assess and assist you regarding your particular circumstances. In our agenda today, we're going to talk about assessing. Who do I need? What can I afford? We're going to talk about culture, know about your values and culture, capitalize, share the benefit of working for a small business. We're going to talk about choosing the best candidate, making the right interviews, the do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about the two very important phases once we have chosen the best candidate, how to perform the orientation phase and then the onboarding phase. And the most important part, the engagement, tips to improve employee engagement. So now the new normal, our logo for SBDC is help you navigate into the new normal. Now you know that with the economic impact of the COVID pandemic, we have to readjust and take new approaches to revamp and come stronger again. We should understand that this crisis has brought the human-centric culture a top priority when we are talking about employees. Adopt more flexible working arrangements like hybrid working models, promoting open dialogue, and installing direct communication channels are crucial for our business success. U.S. workers now consider work-life balance, a flexible working environment to be the most critical factors in considering a job offer. Based on Schremm article, 80% of employees said they will be more loyal to their employers if they had flexible work options. What is our challenge as a small business right now? We have so many challenges, but hiring talent in this highly competitive market where that people are not planning to come back to work as if they were before, it's a big one for us right now. So in this webinar, we are talking about the hiring process, but we would like to give you good practices and how to share your new vision and how to market yourself as an excellent place to work. And once you hire that employee, how you will prepare them for success. Remember that the employee's success is your business success. So now, to make this very interactive, I like to give the word to Jessica to give us an exercise here with a poll.
Thanks very much, Ellie. You guys will see a poll pop up on your screen. We're kind of very curious, in terms of your hiring process, where do you personally feel like you might like to make some improvements? So maybe it's better job ads. Maybe you're not entirely thinking your job postings are as good as they could be. Maybe it's your job descriptions could use some work. Maybe you're not 100% in love with your interviewing process, or just not sure about attracting, the best possible candidate. Or maybe it's more than one of these or some combination. So let's take a moment. We'd love to learn a little bit more about part of what made you join us this morning. We'll give a few moments for you to answer, and then we'll share our results. Teresa, would you mind sharing whenever you're ready? So here's a little bit of a breakdown, Ellie. I think you can see this. So it looks like we're looking for some help maybe with some job ads. Looks like people feel like their job descriptions could use a little work.
Yes,
Seeing quite a bit about sourcing candidates, wanting to revisit their So kind of across the gamut, I feel like everybody feels like they could brush up a little bit in all of these areas. So
Yes,
awesome.
great.
Thank you guys for sharing. This is great. Very helpful. And then we'll ask one other question right now. We're curious about how much you guys think employee turnover actually costs. You know, we know for a number of reasons it can be, you know, frustrating when you spend a lot of time and resources investing in someone and you bring someone on board and, you know, maybe it doesn't work out or they leave sooner than you hope they would. How much do you all think turnover actually costs you? Give you a quick second to answer, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. All right, Teresa, would you mind sharing our results? Let's see what people think. Wow, no fooling you guys. Quite a bit of you guessed correctly. 33%. This is why, you know, we always like to say people are our biggest resources. And part of the reason that not only do we want to be invested in keeping our people for a number of reasons, one of them is this financial piece of it and how much it can cost when you spent money training and onboarding somebody. This is why making that right hire right from the get-go to the best of our ability is so important. This was actually according to Forbes magazine, a survey that was done. And yeah, 33% of that person's salary goes along with that turnover cost. So smart group, Elly.
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
So we're ready to continue with our presentation. Now that we're going to talk about our topic in specific, I would like to make a reflection here. You know that as a business owners, we have to wear so many hats at the same time. It's really hard to understand how we juggle, but that's the fact. So we have to come up with the best solution for this specific area as an HR. So let's imagine we're putting our HR hat. We're forgetting about being the business owner because sometimes we like to be very demanding, knowing that this is our business and they have to do whatever I say. But it's not what it has to be. We have to put an HR hat and understand our role the best possible to accomplish the business goal. So talking about HR then, how much do you know about HR? Do you know about federal laws, state laws? Do you know about the Fair Labor Standards Act, federal discrimination laws? Are you aware of the employment at will in Florida? How about benchmarking salaries and benefits? What about documentation, organizational charts, job descriptions, employment files? You need help? That's why we're here, to let you know just that you have to learn so many different things, but just to let you know as well that you have a team in FSBDC to help you with these new areas that you want to learn in order to help your business to succeed. We have plenty of resources, and you can schedule as many appointments as you need at no cost, and we can provide those resources that you need to improve in the HR knowledge. So starting with the hiring process, what is the first step? So the first step is job analysis. We have to assess what we need. But first, what are our main goal is to find our perfect match. But how can you meet your perfect match if you don't know what perfect means for you? So that's why we need this assessment. To start, we need to know about our culture, our values, our mission, our goals. I know that many of you already have those values and missions and goals, or some of you already know about them, but you haven't thought to have that in, you know, in a formal way. So to give you an example what a value or mission is, we have examples of big entities and organizations, and also two of our clients called mission and goals. For example, in Coca-Cola, we have an inclusive workplace mission. Monissima, it's one of our clients. She says that your personal cosmetic goals become reality, and our personal mission is to deliver unparalleled service and experience. So as you see, their goal is to make their client goals their service, their experience to bring their best. And UCF foster a culture of integrity, trust, and respect. And another client of SBDC, Team I4, unites to deliver exceptional resorts and premier customer service. So knowing your culture, you know who to attract. It says that they say that we hire people that we like. But remember that we have to think about the business. So we need to know what is the best candidate that comes along with our business values. So in this assessment that we need to have prior posting or interviewing our candidates, we need to define the roles in our company. These people is going to be an administrative area, will be a bookkeeping, will be in sales, marketing. What will be their roles, their duties? Do I need a full or a part-time employee, or I can, based on the duties, can I have an exempt or a not exempt employee in this position? What about employee or independent contractor? Sometimes we confuse that and we use that as, you know, our own convenience, and we have to pay attention on these two differences, two different ways of bringing resources to our business. And what about the budget, the salary, the taxes, and the benefits? That is very important. Can we afford a person for that position? I have an example of a client lately that she was ready to start working in a contract that she was granted. And she had the candidates ready to start. And she knew what salary to offer. She thought she knew. When we meet with this client, we start asking questions about the budget projections. She knew that she couldn't afford those employees for more than 2 months. So she says, okay, so I'm going to bring them as an exempt employees, so I don't have to worry about extra hours. So she had a misconception. So she's struggling to get these employees in place. She's trying to apply for a loan in order to enhance the budget and be ready to have this force in place to complete the job that was assigned. So you don't want to be in that burden after starting, you know, a project with a client. You need to know that in advance. So once we have this assessment, we'll be ready to have a job description. We shouldn't get a job description that we find in Google and make it ours. We have to work in this assessment and prepare our own, and based on our business needs. And we can help you with along this process. We have the knowledge, experience, and also the resources to help you. So now we have another question. Jessica?
Yes, we do. So Elly has just been talking about the difference between exempt and non-exempt employees and classifying and kind of figuring out who exactly is the kind of person and what kind of position do I need. So we have a poll for you just to kind of quickly test your knowledge on what you think an exempt employee is. So we have some criteria listed. Feel free to check all that you think are applicable, and we'll give you a couple minutes to do that, and we will look at the results together. Give just a few more seconds. All right, Teresa, would you mind sharing our results for me? Awesome. Yes. So for exempt employees, as you'll see here, you guys caught on to that they must have certain specific job duties. They must meet that criteria, and they also have to make a certain threshold with their salary to be considered exempt. And actually, that's regardless of when they start working for you. It does not matter if they've worked for you for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. It really comes down to the type of position that they hold, their responsibilities, and the salary that you are paying them. Elly, any other comment here?
Yes. It's good to know that we're learning. We're getting new information every day, and we can improve our HR practice in our business. Not because we're a small business, we have to disregard these concepts. So that's why we're here, to learn and to help you.
Absolutely.
So in the first poll, I see that you're interested in knowing how to attract good talent. So once I knew that I had to present this topic, came to my mind to make a survey with different women and men and different generations, also different education levels, even working for big companies. Ask them, why do you prefer working for a small business versus a large corporation? And these people that I made the survey with, they're very eager to answer. They're very excited. They're very interested and let us know what they're so happy working for a small business. And these other people, there were 2 employees there I made a survey. One worked for Google and the other one for Twitter. And I asked them, why could you change working for a small business one day? And the answers were related with this 7 reasons that I'm sharing with you right now. They say that being a family-friendly environment is very appealing to them. And it goes along with what I said at the beginning. More human-centric and greater sense of teamwork, better engagement, more collaborative environment, sense of belonging, create rapport with different generations and feel valued, less bureaucracy, direct challenges and better autonomy, appreciate the impact that the work has on the company, work flexibility, easy to implement and adapt to changes. And the last one, it was one of the caught my attention the most, learning opportunities. They think that they have to execute different roles and responsibilities. So in consequence, they learn more skills. They have the opportunity to be hands-on with the business owners, so they learn a lot. So one of the tips that I give you today is make this your message to stand out in the market when you have to compete with big companies hiring employees. Make the case of being a small business with these characteristics a good opportunity to work. So now that we have the information that we need in order to recruit our talent, what is the next step? We have the job description. So we have to advertise our position. We have to make a selling point. We have to leverage your brand and culture. You have to offer competitive salary, work flexibility, diversity, and other work flexible arrangements. Remember that salary is not always the main factor. Yes, it's important. We can help you to create a benchmark and arrange salary, and also to create a good package of benefits and perks. Be creative when you advertise. You can do it internally in your own with your own or the employees that you have. We can do it through social media. We can use other venues. So pre-screen is very important. So the advertisement is really engaging. So I think it's the first step that we do outside to engage the people that we want to bring. So I think Monica can help us here. Monica?
Yes, thank you. So right. When we think about how do we attract people and how do we bring the right people in, we started about this sort of clarity that you need to have within your organization, and then the clarity you need to have with the individual you're wanting to hire. But then how do you go about attracting them with your words? And so there is the job description, and then there's the job ad. And a lot of times our business owners are getting confused and just creating a job description, which is like a listing of what's going on for the position. But we want you to think more about the job ad as a marketing piece. And that's why we have these really cute little slogans and things for you to look at here as examples. But think of the job ad as a marketing piece. And how can you get creative and not just thinking of putting this description of the things that they would be doing, the tasks, the job itself on an Indeed board and then sort of walking away. The environment is so competitive when you're hunting for an employee that we want you to think about it as sort of hunting, where you're going to try to think of how can you find the right person. So you want to be creative in your language and in your job ad. You want to do things like bring your business cards with you everywhere. And if you see someone who looks like they're the right fit, approach them, give them a business card and say, I'd love to talk to you about your career. And they could already be working somewhere and not even be thinking about it. But kind of like Elly was saying, people are looking for that engagement to feel valued and have impact. So if you can start doing that in the initial interactions with a potential employee, that's how you're going to hire a great person. It's not going to just fall in your lap because you're not a large company. Smaller companies do have to do things creatively. So I think that's what we're really wanting to highlight here. Elly, do you want to add?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Monica. Yes, that's true. And the color is not just, placed there because it's beautiful. Because it's wants to cut the attention. So be aware of the pictures, the titles, the color. This could be a good tip for you. So, okay, so let's say that we already have some candidates. And what is the next step? So the next step is the interview, choosing who's gonna be that talent. So we're gonna give you some tips and tools here. So once you're ready to interview your candidates, make a team. That is very important. So two people can see, can combine good input about the candidate. Pre-screen. Don't 10 candidates, let's make interview to all of them. You can pre-screen by phone or by Zoom. The interviews can also be by Zoom and also in person now that we have more flexible rules relates with COVID. Try to get a questionnaire. Be very systematic with the interview. Have the same questionnaire for every candidate and write notes about them. Highlight what you think is going to be it's going to fit with your business need, and also some red spots. Put them to test. We can give you a different type of questions that you might need based on your job needs. We can offer resources and different questions like technical questions, skills related with skills, with behavior, problem solving, and more. We also can guide you what are the questions that you can and you cannot ask legally. Screening, conducting background checks and references is very important. Don't take that for granted. Some people can manage the way they talk and they can be very convincing, but once you start conducting those references, you might find something that you don't like. So take a day or two just to go ahead and make these background checks. So before moving to the next phase, once you make the job offer, you should consider you should ask for permission to run this background check and references, and that could be conditioned. That job offer can be conditional on over the result of those references of background check results. So let's say that we already find the right candidate. Maybe this person has experience. Maybe I'm hiring a front desk and that person has been working as a front desk in other companies. Don't take for granted that that person has experience and she will do the best in your job and for your business. You have to make sure that that person understands what you need from them. So in order to be successful and to set up this employee for succeed, we have to complete two, I would say, stages or two aspects of the employee hiring. One, it's called orientation. It can take from 1 to 2 to 3 days. This orientation sectional part of the hiring, it's meant to be to complete the legal documentation. We have to go to make them complete I-9 form from Homeland Security information. We also have to complete the W-4 form for the salary withdrawal. We also have to go over the handbook, the workplace posters, and some other legal steps that we need to complete before this employee starts, their position. So in this orientation phase, we want him or her feel welcome. And here we're talking not just about the legal requirements, but also we're talking about to set the employee for success. We want to make them feel part of the family. Remember, we're small, we're a family. So we want to make them feel part of it. Introduce that person to the team. Show this person what each member of the company do for the business, to understand their duties. So in the future, when they have to communicate between each other, they will understand their pressure. So in the importance of their needs. So also it's for housekeeping information. Just remember when we went to school for the first time, or we had the first job, or we have the first day in our next job, we feel anxious. We don't know where to go to ask questions. We don't know can I use this a cup or mug, or can I take this coffee or not? Where I should put my purse or personal belongings. What if I need to have a break? Where can I do it? So those are things that if you give that information in advance to your employee, it will make them feel better, and it will make them feel comfortable. So after passing this orientation phase, we have what is called the onboarding phase. This phase can take a week or a month, depending on the large of the operation or the job description and duties or training. This onboarding phase is meant to be the employee to feel knowledgeable and to make them feel powerful, for the job that he has to perform. So start explaining for the job duties and the goals. Provide the tools that they need. Set clear expectations. Training. You have to do that to training. You have to, you can provide this training through videos. You can do that in person. You can do that by coaching hands-on. You can then practice, and after you evaluate and support the employee. So understand that we all are different and we receive the message in different ways. So don't take for granted that everything that I'm telling, it's received the way that I want to. So that, or the way that I think. I'm transferring the message. So make sure that they get the right idea, that they understand what are their expectations, what are my expectations and their goals. And once the employee is trained, supervise the way that person does the job, and evaluate. After 15 days at the beginning, after a month, ask questions. And if you see there is lacking in some areas, there's opportunities to help them to perform better. Don't be discouraged because that person doesn't answer the phone the way you want it. There's ways that you can provide that training and those skills to the new employee. And provide with the tools is very important. Sometimes we expect that the employee, make the goals, and we're not sure that they have whatever it's needed. And we also don't understand specific needs that they have. So ask questions and provide everything that they need. A very important part of this presentation is engagement. Engagement is make this work environment appealing to work, and not just at the beginning, but from now on. So we have 7 recommendations for employee engagement. One is supply with the right tools. Make sure that your employee have all the tools to succeed in their roles. Give them individual attention. Each person needs a different approach. Provide training and coaching. The more the employee feels the company is investing in their future, the higher level of engagement they're going to have. Listen to employees, pay close attention, get social, engage workers, feel emotionally invested in their jobs, foster closer connections to colleagues, serve others, and recognize proudly and loudly. So we have our last poll here. Jessica?
Awesome, thank you. So Monica and Elly have talked to us a little bit today about messaging as small business owners and what we can do to really emphasize the benefits and some of the perks that come along with working with a small business. So of these that we have listed here, we'd like you to check all that you think apply in terms of what messaging we can use to attract strong candidates to work for small businesses. We'll give you a second to answer. So a couple more seconds, give everyone a chance. Thanks very much. Teresa, would you mind sharing our results? Awesome. Thank you guys very much. Yes, so one of the things that we really just want to emphasize here when we talk about messaging and we talk about working for a small business such as ones represented here, Elly's talked about different things to consider and the family work environment that can come at working in a small business, that there's learning opportunities and opportunities to grow professionally when duties and responsibilities can vary and change when you're working for a small business and sometimes wearing multiple hats or your role evolves. Maybe there's an opportunity for a hybrid schedule or flexible scheduling. Just some things to think about. There's more than this, but these all certainly definitely can possibly apply. And just definitely some things to think about. Not selling ourselves short as small business owners thinking, oh, I can't offer all of these incredible, amazing, wonderful things that larger organizations can. There's opportunities to be creative and really think about the perks that come with working for a small business and being in that kind of environment. Elly?
Yes, thank you, Jessica. So again, we're almost about to finish this presentation. It's very short time that we have. We don't pretend here to give you all the information needed. You know that this is impossible. Well, what we'd like to let you know, what is the process of hiring in this situation that we're facing right now. And also we want to let you know that we're here to help you in all this process, to go in detail with you. So in a summary, remember that to hire the right candidate and to help them or help her to succeed, we have to understand who we are, what we're going through, what are our goals, our mission, our values. Know your business needs, your capabilities, understand what HR means. Know that the budget is not just the salary, it is also the tax, employment tax. It also involves perks and other benefits. Ask the right questions to dig into the candidate, to really know what that person brings to the company. Take a moment to execute background checks and ask for references. That is very important, and we can highlight that a lot because of our experience. And capitalize on the benefits of working for a small business. Now we know that we have something else to offer that, to compare with big companies. And plan a relevant and thoughtful orientation and onboarding process to make this employee to succeed. Remember, their success is our success. So to continue with this interesting topic and area of HR, we would like to give information as well how you can improve as a leader, because as in charge of people, being in charge of people is not easy. So you have to be ready to learn how to be a good leader. So Monica in July is going to talk about it. And also we're going to teach you how to endure the topic managing employees. And Jessica will talk about it in September. So be aware that we are offering this set of webinars to help you with your HR devoir. So again, thank you very much for attending, and we're ready for the questions.
Okay, right now we don't have any questions. Again, if you guys have any questions, please use your question chat area, and I will go ahead and ask them the information that I see. We have one question. How about applications for employees?
How about applications? Depending on what you're looking for that employee, we can help you customize an employee application based on what your needs are. We have plenty of resources to help you. So those applications, once you see a candidate, you make them completed, and then you can have the best options to start the interview process.
Does anyone else have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and give you guys 1 minute. I know that it can be a little bit challenging. You've been watching a webinar this whole time, and you may need a chance to find where that chat box is to ask questions.
In the meantime, I'm
Oh.
sorry, Teresa, I would like to say just in the meantime that we are here as a team in red color, and it's just not exciting. You know, we're here as a team together to combine our expertise and also our knowledge to be your HR support for your business needs.
Okay, we have 2 questions. I'm going to answer the first one very quickly. Somebody missed the seminar. There will be a recording of this webinar a few weeks on our YouTube channel. Just give us a few weeks for it to download, process, and maybe edit out the beginning or the end, whatever is, if there are any issues, and then we usually post it within 2 weeks after it. Then there's another question about taxes for 1099 employees.
So the question is very interesting, and you mixing 2 topics in one, 2 different topics in one. So 1099 are not employees. 1099 are independent contractors. They're a different company than you. So what you do, you don't tax the 1099s. They have to submit their own tax report. What you tax is your employees. Once you hire them, they have to complete a W-4 to withhold the taxes that, you know, by law has to be withdraw, and then you have you're responsible for those taxes from your part and their employees and the employee part. But those are 2 different topics. That's why we're so happy to be here to assist you to understand the differences. And we don't choose we don't choose how to treat them. We don't classify them as our own convenience. We have to be aware that the law gives us the parameters when it's going to be an employee and when it's going to be an independent contractor. So those are 2 different topics. So if you want to go in detail with that question and help you with your specific need, you just let us know in our website. We have a link so you can request a consultation, and we'll be glad to assist you.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you have any further questions after her answer, you're welcome to ask more questions. Where can I find information of whether I am properly classified as exempt? I think I should be non-exempt.
We can guide you. You can apply for a request for consulting in SBDC, and we will give you the results, the resources. You also can go to the Department of Labor, and also IRS.gov has good resources on those topics.
Those are
Okay.
those resources. Those are good resources even for the question about the 1099 or the independent contractor. And Elly started to mention there are some very specific guidelines. Sometimes our small businesses are misclassifying their employees. So you want to just go ahead and look to make sure that you haven't crossed that line. You can get in a little bit of trouble if you have crossed that line and you're treating them as if they are an employee, but they're actually not, or vice versa. So it's very clear. Some of it is a little gray and a little fuzzy, but you know, again, we're shamelessly plugging for you to reach out and talk to us. So you're more than welcome to talk to us, and we can kind of look at it with you and be unobjective about, you know, should these people be on staff or should they not, based on what they're doing and how you treat them and what you expect of them. So that's basically what you're looking at.
And from an accounting perspective, I do know that IRS has a 1099 versus independent contractor, and it's also industry based.
Yeah.
They vary, that perspective takes an industry basis. So the next question is, can you talk a little bit about what we can't ask in an interview?
Great question.
Jessica, do you want to participate in that answer? Or?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So the way I kind of like to explain that is you don't want to ask, there's obviously there's a legal side of this of what you can and can't ask, and a lot of that is related to discrimination. So you want to stick with, you know, Elly mentioned kind of having a set questionnaire that you're asking each of the candidates. And then when you think about things not to ask, you know, you want to be asking questions that, you know, it's not highly advised against not asking questions like, are you married? Do you have kids? Do you plan on becoming pregnant? Do you, you know, I mean, you even, you know, what religion are you? Some of those basic things, because A, it's illegal to ask those questions, but B, you don't want to give the impression that you're discriminating in any way. And a lot of that comes from, you know, you're wanting a fair hiring process across the board. So it's asking the same questions. It's asking questions that are only related to the specific job. And so, for example, if you're hiring and you're concerned, you know, maybe you're hiring for a second shift, and maybe you're concerned about, well, I want to know that, you know, my employee is going to be able to show up on time. So I want to know if they have kids, because, you know, if they're a parent, maybe they won't be able to come on time. You don't want to say something like, hey, do you have any kids, or are you married, or do you have a spouse who will be able to watch your kids for you? Those are not questions you want to ask. You want to say something like, hey, these are the hours that you'll be expected to work. Do you have any, do you foresee any issue with that? Or maybe you ask, do you have any issues with transportation to work? Are you going to be able to get to and from work just fine? Elly, you want to add to that?
Yes, it's exactly what you're saying. You don't have to get into personal information. And also, you don't want to use this to be then considered discriminatory selection. So you need to ask, for example, the shift starts at 6 a.m. So you don't want to ask, do you have a car? Mm-hmm. So you can come on time. So you have kids. Do you have somebody to support you in that area? You should ask them, do you have a reliable transportation? Are you able to be here on time? If they say yes, you have to trust that answer. Right. Because in the future, you don't want to have any trouble to be considered that you're using discrimination because I don't have a car or because I have kids. So there's a list of questions that we can provide for you that are not allowed to ask, and we have questions. We know what you want to know. We know what you want to ask. So based on that, we have a question that you can ask to get that answer.
Yeah, so you could technically pose the question in plain English to us, and we could help you transform it into the right
exactly.
person. The question So instead of, 6 a.m. is the start time, are you going to make it? Or your kid's going to make you late? Instead of that, you might. Have you ever been to an early job? If you have, can you kind of tell me a little bit about that? That's the question I would ask sort of in an interview. And then there's the pre-screening question so that you don't have to even get to that place, right? So you pre-screen and you would say, do you have reliable transportation? Do you have the ability to get to work on time? And these are the hours. And then if they get there and you just want to double check because everybody's going to say all the right things, then as you're talking, that personality assessment in the one-on-one interview is, tell me a time that you were late to work. If you open it like that, then they have to tell you a time they were late to work. Now you can sit to understand what would cause this person to be late to work. So does that make sense? Is that good?
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Monica. Another thing that come to my mind, it's in COVID vaccine. You're not allowed to ask too many questions to go in detail with your employee beliefs or employee health conditions. You should ask, are you vaccinated or not? Or you should prepare a document where they attest that they're vaccinated. Or you should ask for the card, but you shouldn't go more in detail. You just have to ask the question, a plain question.
Right.
Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? Yes. Okay. I'll give you guys just another moment or two to type out your question.
Some good ones so far.
Are workplaces allowed to require the COVID vaccine?
Okay, can you ask the question, please? I was waiting for more.
Okay, it just was a simple question of, are workplaces allowed to require the COVID vaccine?
It will depend of the activity that your business is in or the industry. You cannot mandate your depending on the industry. Again, if you're not entitled to obligate your employees to vaccinate, they have to wear the mask, and you can make the CDC recommendation yours in order to comply with the law. But we have to talk that based on the industry. We cannot answer a yes or no question right now because we don't know who is listening, and we don't want our answer, be misunderstood by other type of businesses.
The person is further clarifying, is there a law that defines this, or the CDC are just recommendations, it's not a law?
Yes, we can go with you specifically with your industry. We have just the CDC guidelines. We don't have any law in particular. We were talking about, asking the employee if it's vaccine or not, but in relates to order the employee to get the vaccine, it's a different topic. We have to go in detail with your specific business industry.
Yeah, it's not a straightforward answer.
Exactly.
Just a little personal plug. I also would like to remind you that when it comes to the COVID vaccine, there are people who actually cannot get vaccinated because of underlying conditions. So there is a reason why there are laws in place that don't mandate the vaccine to everybody. So there is another question. Can you require a test prior to hire?
Test, COVID test?
A COVID test, yes.
Again, if it's allowed by the candidate to do that, we can consider that we can move forward and request, the answer, not the test in a specific, but the answer. If it's, has vaccinated or if it's protected for COVID.
Excellent questions today. Is there anybody else who has any other questions? It does look like we've reached our 11 o'clock time period. If you do have further questions, you can go ahead and register for consulting. Elly, I think we will move on to your last slide. Okay,
Ready,
awesome.
right?
Thank you, Elly, Monica, and Jessica for answering these questions and for this wonderful webinar. It looks like all the questions we have been taken care of. If anyone has any follow-up questions and would like to schedule a meeting with a consultant, or if you're interested in any of our other upcoming seminars, please feel free to visit our website at www.sbdcorlando.com, where you can navigate to our link to register for an appointment, or you can click on our upcoming seminars page to see the other offerings we do in webinar format this year. Again, thank you for attending. Please be on the lookout for the evaluation survey, and we hope to see you soon.